guys, what is up? How is everybody doing it today? I have had the craziest morning today. I need this right now in my life because I'm having moments. But it's okay. We're here. We're going to do makeup therapy because makeup therapy is the best therapy. Honest to God, if you ever feel like shit, go do your makeup. Like, honestly, I love doing my makeup when I'm upset because it more inspires you, especially to get into really grungy looks. So, on that note, today is the age of rock and roll! And I know a lot of people would think, oh, well, this doesn't really fit into history. It doesn't really fit. Rock and roll is timeless. It's ageless. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And rock and roll looks are one of my favorite things in the world because I grew up on rock and roll. I grew up on AC/DC. I grew up on Kiss. I grew up on Poison, Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac, all of those, Metallica, any of the other ones you can name. I grew up on listening to those. My dad was the biggest Kiss fan ever to hit this earth. If I say that again, my dad was the biggest Kiss fan to ever hit this earth. So I love rock and roll. But if you guys also didn't know, there are different stages to rock and roll. I know a lot of people get kind of rock and roll, it's all go together, the oldies, the goodies, and all that good stuff. But there are different types of rock and roll. There's hardcore rock and roll, screamo, and of course glamour rock and roll. Now I don't know if that's specifically what it's called, but that's what my dad called it. So that's like Poison and all of those very glamorous kind of rock and roll groups. You know, the hair, the makeup, all of that good stuff. That is glamour rock and roll. So I went through, and when I think of rock and roll, I think of really dark eyes, dark eyeliner, you know, dark lips, bright red lips, and all that kind of stuff. I was slightly right. There are actually different styles of rock and roll makeup throughout the years, from the 70s to the 2000s, which I thought was crazy. I was like, rock and roll was still around for the 2000s, but I guess it really was. It was kind of like a mixture in there kind of thing. So there are different ones. There's always the David Bowie, the swoop colorful eye going off there. There's, of course, like the normal cat eye. There's the grunge look, which is like, you know, what I'm probably going to be doing because I love smoky eyes, and anytime that I get to do a smoky eye, I will do it. So it's like the smoky eye, and there were all different kinds of rock and roll. So I'm going to go to, I think it's the 80s. Don't quote me. I wasn't born around that time, so I'm not 100% sure, but I do have it in here, so I'm going to pull it real quick. So, yes, 70s. Sorry, not the 80s. I'm going to be doing the 70s look, which is a very grunge look, dark eyeliner, wings, smoked out, and all that good stuff. And we're going to do that because I love it. Love it. I do love the David Bowie look, too. David Bowie is my life. I loved him. He was amazing. If you don't like David Bowie, we got a problem, because David Bowie's awesome. Alright, so first things first, of course, I'm going to get all my crap together, because I need all my crap together. We're going to go ahead, and I'm going to find my mirror, whatever I did with my mirror. I am, like, all up in the camera, like, hello, everybody, how are you doing today? I do have my ringed nose ring in, just for the occasion of this. I'm going to turn down my light of my mirror, because every time I put that on, I look like, you know, like I've just stepped into heaven. Hallelujah. Oh. Literally, it just lights up my entire face, and you guys can, like, see every crevice on my face. It's ridiculous. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and prime our face up right quick. Yes, I'm not taking my nose ring out. I know a lot of people get really irritated when I do that. Especially some of my friends who actually have nose rings. They get so bent out of shape that I don't take my nose ring out when I do makeup. I just don't. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Sometimes I do if I get, like, really irritated with it, like if it gets in my way. And this is, like, I have not wore a hooped nose ring in, like, forever. Like, literally forever. So this is really weird to me to have this in. So, yeah. So, back in the day, I do remember this. My mom used to wear the really thin eyebrows. If you do it, still do it. Good for you, girlfriend. But the really thin eyebrows that they used to do. I can try to do that, but naturally my mom would use a eyeliner to do that. So, I'm going to try to recreate it, but I'm not sure if I can. Because that's like a really thin, like, you know, eyeliner, the penciled on eyeliner. Now I do remember my mom used to put makeup over top of it. Like, would take concealer, put it over top of it, and then powder, and then do her eyebrow, which I was like, you crazy lady. So, let us see, shall we? It's got to be thin. Think thin. Think thin. What is if you are into rock and roll, so I want to know this while we're doing this. What was your favorite rock and roll band? If you were into rock and roll, what was your favorite rock and roll band? What was your favorite rock and roll song? What was, like, your thing? If you say Stevie Nicks, we were instantly best friends. Because Stevie Nicks and Poison and Metallica were my life. And the Dixie Chicks, even though I don't think they're rock and roll. They're not rock and roll. But Dixie Chicks were my thing, too. So, of course, gotta darken the eyebrows with the dark. With the dark. Yeah, see, my eyebrows are naturally really thick, unless I actually got them and went to get them waxed. But, you know, you gotta use the dark with the dark, though. That was the thing. It was like these dark eyebrows. If anybody remembers that. I genuinely remember my mom and dad going to, like, rock concerts. And my mom would always use just dark eyeliner. And her eyebrows would be, like, really, really crazy, like, just instantly dark. I know I keep saying dark, but literally they were, like, freaking crazy. But I loved it. I thought it was so... I honestly, glamour rock is probably my favorite type of rock just because I do like metal and I do like screamo music, if you didn't know that. I do like that kind of stuff. But glamour rock is more of my favorite just because I love the look of glamour rock. I love the whole wig aesthetic kind of thing. I love that, you know, they just didn't care. Like, men wore the eyeliner, the lipstick, all of that. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world, and I loved it. You know, and I thought it was just cool. Now, this is going to be funny because this is kind of sad, I guess, in a way. The only person, I guess, during rock and roll time that I didn't listen to, but I listened to, like, the counterpart, I guess, or, like, compared to, I did not listen to Ozzy Osbourne. I did not like Ozzy Osbourne. Just something about him I can't get behind. But this is going to sound so crazy, but Marilyn Manson, my mom and me used to listen to Marilyn Manson. My eyebrows are looking like crap today. Oh well, that's as thin as I can get it. We used to listen to Marilyn Manson all the time together. Like, my mom loved Marilyn Manson. I'm not 100% sure why, because now, for some reason, I can't listen to his music. But before, my mom loved Marilyn Manson, and I can kind of get behind some of his music. Not all of it. I like to think that I am a very transparent person, and I get behind all kinds of music. Country, rap, hip-hop, rock and roll. I can get behind really anything as long as it has good beat, too. Alright, so I'm going to go in with a full coverage foundation. Now, this has nothing to do with rock and roll, but every time I've seen rock and roll pictures, they always just look so flawless. So I'm assuming they probably did use a full coverage foundation. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I'm also wearing black. Even though you can see my pink strap for pink, I'm still trying to, like, I tried to get in the whole full black kind of aesthetic, I guess you could say. Aesthetically pleasing. Aesthetic look. Yes! My live! What do you want?
Is he eating it?
No, just making chicken nuggets.
Yes?
No, I was just gonna make him chicken nuggets. Sorry, my husband came in to talk to me. He wanted to ask me if my son has eaten yet today. He got home early, so he's here with us. Usually I do this, he's not here. So that's why if it's like, I just gotta stop. Because I'm not used to him just walking in and be like, hey, honey, has Ethan eaten yet? Nope, he has not. But anyways, what I was talking about, yeah, Marilyn Manson. I don't know. I used to like Marilyn Manson, but I think as I've gotten older, just like his music just kind of brings me down more than it helps me out. It used to be like, you know, my angsty teens when I was just mad at the world. Marilyn Manson was my thing. Just mad at the world, listen to Marilyn Manson. It's funny because most of the kids, this is going to bring back some memories here. So most of the kids around me, like the kids that I hung out with, they were listening to like Blood on the Dance Floor, Jeffree Star, all of that. I'm trying to think of Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. Lord, we're going back in time here. For me at least. People were listening to that, but I was listening to like that kind of stuff, like Marilyn Manson and all of that. And like people would always be like, okay, I'm sad, but I'm not that sad. I don't know. It was just funny because one of my teachers one time, I was listening, we had our headphones, I was allowed to have my headphones in class, and she came up and she's like, what are you listening to? And I was like, Marilyn Manson. She's like, people still listen to Marilyn, kids still listen to Marilyn Manson. I was like, yeah. And she's like, does your mom know you listen to Marilyn Manson? I was like, yes. And she's like, instant concern just came over her face. Like, instant, like, okay, that's cool. So, one of the things that I love about rock and roll, but it's funny because if you know me, hold on, I'm trying to find something. 1 second. Where is it? There it is. So, one thing about rock and roll that I did really like is that the men and the women wore a lot of blush. Now, I know a lot of people, if you do know me, you're like,